Coming up on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Today we are covering Trading Places, the 1983 comedy.
Eddie Murphy's character, Billy Ray Valentine.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Thank you very much! Vietnam did this to me, but I'm not bitter. Thank you!
My God, we're paying these people this much money. And Winthrop goes,
Can't get around the old minimum wage, Mortimer.
What's her
hooker.
What's
Jamie
her
Lee
face?
Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
She takes the shirt off and you
Look.
get to see her.
Rockin' chicks.
For some reason, I realize he's black. This still seems really racist when he starts singing. And they put him in the cage with the gorilla, and he's immediately sexually assaulted.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
Looking good, Lewis.
Feeling good, Todd.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
F and the B. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast that no one asked for. Today we are covering Trading Places, the 1983 comedy. Guys, it's right around the holidays. We're in December, and actually, before we get started, when this episode airs, happy birthday, Leaf.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
No
dude.
problem, man. This, of course, will be accompanied by a robot clip.
Happy birthday, Molly.
But anyway,
And Leaf, what we were talking about earlier, just go with her to the store. Just make sure she doesn't get one that's bigger than you. I mean, you're going to get yours anyway. Why not let her enjoy it?
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Was he? Remember that Family Guy clip?
Was he bigger than me?
Bigger than me. So,
Oh man.
was he bigger than me? I mean, that's really what we all care about, especially when we're talking about our.
Get out of the street, you fucking bum!
She said, "Is it going to be Black Friday or Good Friday, or is it the same thing?"
Is he bigger than me? So for this booze of the week, I actually got this one about a week ago. It's a Creature Comforts Winter IPA. Again, still working on the brain. Dude, I really was afraid it was going to be super duper Christmassy and pumpkin spice and lattes and facials, but it was not. It was actually just a pretty good IPA. So shout out Creature Comforts Winter IPA. If you,
It's not any good.
it's very good. So Leaf Man, what do you got there, brother?
Man, I got the old classic yet again. I'm drinking the same vodka, I believe, as last time. I got vodka cran, man. It's the holidays. Happy holidays. Yeah, go f yourself.
Thank you, Slappy.
Win
Says it.
Yeah, Winthorpe.
Why is that your? Well, we'll get to it, but that is a clip Shadwick has shared, which also actually is the most Shadwick clip I think he's ever shared.
Very true.
When he's
Very
not into
true.
something, he's like, nah. Shadwick, what do you got, man?
Well, I was trying to get in character with the guys from the movie, so I didn't have any Bud Heavy, so I'm just going with the Bud Light.
All right,
All
man.
right.
I got you.
The Billy Ray Valentine.
But
Do it in the glass because you're classy. Yeah. Oh, that's
Put a
right.
lot
We're
out.
trash.
I'd shrink it with my thumb up.
There you go. Pinky's out. Guys, also don't forget, hit up our good friends over at ZBiotics.
Yes.
That's zbiotics.com/bekind, or if you're on their website, promo code BeKind. Save yourself 10%, help yourself out, and help us out going over into this.
Help your sanity, because we've got fucking Turkey Day coming up. We've got Christmas. We've got New Year's.
The
Dude, I know.
holidays.
I'm telling you.
All of the stuff that makes you want to what's the word? Unalive yourself.
That is
So-
what we say on YouTube. Yeah.
So, and also, guys, the little promo we ran last week still going, dude. So we had a pretty good success rate with that. So first 5 again this week. If you use our promo code Zbiotics, we'll send you a free shirt. Just send us proof of concept. Don't worry, I'm on the site, so you can't fucking trick me, you little shits. With that being said, let's go ahead and head over into our topic. Trading Places. Actually, this was a suggestion by a friend of the show, fan of the show, I believe Nate the Great, right, Chadwick? As you
Shout
dubbed
out.
him.
That's what I'm calling him.
Nate.
Yeah, so Nate had suggested this, and anybody, we've had several suggestions in the past. Trust me, even the shitty ones go on the list. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but they do go on the list. I think someone even suggested one time Supermarket Sweep. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. That's never fucking happening.
Yeah, it's on the list.
It's on the list. It's just never fucking happening. I think that was maybe a fake account from Deutschland or something. I don't know. But anyway,
Supermarket Sweep.
it's a great show. Yeah. Trading Places, 1983. We'll go ahead and start off with, as we always do, guys. Where do you first remember seeing it? And I'll go first. Movie was on my radar. It was on TV, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. When I watched this for the show was the first time I watched the actual theater version and not the censored version.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
I will.
I wish we had watched it together then, because I know you laughed your fucking ass off.
I did, and I like their take on boobies.
I like boobies.
So, Leaf, what
Agreed.
about you, man?
Man, I will second that emotion. And I have also never seen this film uncensored. They played it all the time back in the 80s on television somehow. I wished I could remember how much of it was censored, because there's other scenes beside the titties that are like would not
dude.
fly in any situation, especially today. This is an absolute like quintessential 80s kind of comedy where everything kind of went.
All right, Chadwick, this was not your first time, right?
No,
You're the only one.
I don't remember when I saw the unedited version, but I know I saw. It may have been the unedited version, but it was edited by my parents, maybe.
Oh no, Shaddy!
I remember.
No.
Shaddy, no!
I know the first time I saw this, I was with my parents.
Oh, wow.
But the only thing I remember is how much. I think they had already seen it, because my dad was telling me how funny it was when Eddie Murphy is acting like he's blind, crippled,
The homeless veteran. Yeah.
veteran. Yeah. Like my dad thought that was like the funniest shit. And
It is.
And I remember him showing me that part of the movie, but I don't remember in that viewing. I don't remember the rest of the movie.
Right.
So,
More importantly, you don't remember the boobies. And at
No.
that age, you would have remembered the boobies.
You would have remembered.
well, I mean, this came out in '83.
Right. So we
I'm-
would have
I'm
been VHS
positive,
at that point. Or maybe
yeah.
HBO, Showtime, maybe.
HBO and Showtime
I'm
would have been
positive
quintessential.
that I saw Coming to America first,
Yeah.
and probably went back and saw this. So it was probably in the 89 to 90 area when I actually saw this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Leaf, why don't you go ahead and hit us with some boring ass facts? But before you do that, guys, be sure like, subscribe, hit us up in the comments if you're on the audio.
Please
hey
do.
guys, guess what? On Spotify, our videos are now on there. So if you're on Spotify, you can actually watch or listen. You have options now. So hit us with that 5-star.
Yeah. A few commenters mentioned that we've inspired them to watch like these old movies. So if this is like the first you've ever heard of this classic, and you watch it, I'd be interested to know in the comment section exactly what you thought of it, because this was me and Chris's first time watching it uncensored, and it was kind of a
Woo!
it was a spicy blast from the past, man.
That was
A lot of the jokes.
good. So
So the movie Trading Places is a 1983 American comedy film directed by John Landis and written by Timothy Harris and Herschel Weingrod. The film, of course, stars Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Ralph Bellamy, Don Amici, Denholm Elliott, and, of course, the illustrious and busty Jamie Lee Curtis. Wow,
Ooh,
dude.
yeah, man. Dude,
Man.
John Landis. The more I get into these books, and the more that I get into, like, I've been listening to. I'm in the middle of a fucking 20-hour epic on the history of SNL. I've listened to some stuff on Caddyshack, and dude, Landis is all over these old movies that we enjoy. Blues Brothers, Twilight Zone the movie. It's just fucking nuts.
Yeah, a lot of the classic comedies that we loved. If it starred Eddie Murphy, like Dan Aykroyd, he was involved in a lot of those.
Did he do Beverly Hills Cop?
I'm trying to find him on his IMDb right now, but it's terrible, and I'm used to the phone version. So,
Trading Places was released on June 8th, 1983. The film had a budget of $15 million, but made more than 120.6 million sales worldwide. This is a bash.
And dude, he did all the. I think we talked about it before in some past episodes, but did the Michael Jackson videos. He was
MJ if you're nasty.
And I am. So I mean, there's just a lot of things that he did.
Yeah, he actually this was an amazing movie. Like
Kentucky Fried Movie, which we talked about in our airplane episode. Animal House was the one I was trying to think of. Animal House, Blues Brothers. Animal House actually basically was the training wheels for Harold Ramis before Harold went off to do Caddyshack, Trading Places, Michael Jackson's Thriller, which gets him a pass on anything he ever did bad in life. Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop 3, it looks like. So anyway, this dude fucking on it. John Landis, shout out, sponsor our podcast.
Thank you for the 80s boobies. Really appreciate you.
Really appreciate
Amazing,
it.
dude.
So getting into this opening, I sent you guys this a couple of days ago, but I noticed something that was interesting to me. So in 1980, there was a sculptor named Thomas Schomburg.
It's got to be ass.
Yeah. What did he ever do? Ass. But he so he created. He's a sculptor. He created this statue, and in 1982, the statue, the then owner, donated it to the city of Philadelphia, which is where this movie is supposed to be, or where it was filmed. So as it's showing, what's it called? The dichotomy of the rich people and the poor people.
Yeah.
So it's showing rich people and poor people, like the differences in their life as the morning's starting.
In between that, it's having these. And me and my wife actually got to go to Philly last year. I've talked about it on the podcast. We got to see Always Sunny in Philadelphia live. But a lot of these statues that are in this opening are iconic statues and sculptures and whatnot in Philadelphia.
So it's showing like the poor people, they're out by the fire hydrants early in the morning. Everybody's like bundled up, firing up their workday, whatever. But it shows the statue. So this movie didn't come out until 1983. So you figure in 82 is when they're filming it. This statue actually debuted, I think, 1 month before this movie came out. So this movie came out in June. Rocky 3 came out in 1983 in May. Mm-hmm. And this is the Rocky statue.
Right. It's in the very beginning of this.
Yeah. It showed. So I just thought that was really interesting because, like,
I'll tell you kind of a quick and dirty on that. All the ones that lead up to that Rocky statue, where it has all these shots of these statues, those are all across the street from Rocky, if I'm not mistaken. There's like a big circular.
Wow.
I'm sure somebody can correct us in the comments what it's called. I'm sorry, I'm uncultured swine. My wife is like, art and culture. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see Always Sunny. Can we go to the prison that's haunted?
She's like, art. She's like, art and culture. And you're like,
with my bottle of Jack. But all those are right across the street. So all the shots of all the faces before I think the last one is the Rocky one. Yeah, that's in this. Right across the street.
I also noticed one other thing before the movie even starts playing. Like as soon as you hit play, you get your studio logo pops up there, and then up at the top it tells like the rating and why it's rated that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to read this. Nudity, blackface, substance abuse, alcohol use, smoking, foul language, sexual content, and blackface.
Twice? Is that a thing?
No, but I went back. that was my double take. I was like, wait.
You said it twice. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't either. And I actually forgot about the scene in this that has that.
I did too.
Yeah, me too. Like, I think that's interesting because that's clearly been added since the movie was released. Because in the 80s, like that was like not a thing you really worried about. Like you know what I mean? I mean, here we have Dan Aykroyd, and we'll get to the scene soon enough with Eddie Murphy, and it's not a problem, right? Like, it's comedy.
It's a fucking disguise.
Comedy is comedy, like in the 80s. So yeah, it was not an issue. So clearly that was added in the beginning of this movie. Later on, I don't know when, obviously, but nowadays it's unthinkable.
You're not going to find that if you have a VHS of this. So, so I got a little background too.
You're not going to find your ass if you have a VHS.
So the writers of this movie were actually inspired by two older brothers at a tennis club they were going to. And these guys at the tennis club would make these bets with each other, and they were just constantly at each other's throats, but they were playing tennis together all the time. And so I guess because this movie is a kind of a play on the Prince and the Pauper, you know. Yeah. So they had the idea of, you know, what everybody does, where they're like, what if this classic story but modern? And originally they really tried hard to score Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor for this role. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was Pryor was out of commission for, I don't know if this was the on fire situation or what it was, but he was not available for it, and they pushed pretty hard for, I forgot who it was. It may have been Landis or Aykroyd.
Freebase cocaine.
It was Aykroyd or Landis. Aykroyd, I know, pushed really hard for Jamie Lee Curtis, and he may have also pushed hard for Eddie, because Eddie's just coming off of 48 Hours, right? That's really the only other credit he has to this point.
Come on, Eddie.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
anyway,
a legend.
so
they're both legends. So yeah, Chadwick's correct.
Dude, he was only 21 when he filmed this.
Yeah. That's so fucked up, man. He's so. How are you that good, that young? Like,
I don't know.
Everything he did in this movie, like the range he is in this movie too. Like you could, you know, the beginning, just the stereotypical '80s black guy in the beginning, and then like,
let's get into it, man.
Yeah, man, I got you.
All right, man, go ahead.
The film indeed opens up, as Chadwick said, in the city of Philadelphia. We get the fancy orchestral music playing in the background. We see working class people starting their day. There's poor people standing in lines of the welfare. And of course we have the other side of the tracks, right? Mm-hmm. There's a butler preparing a fancy breakfast for his employer. Yeah. And that's when we meet, obviously, Lewis Winthrop III, a very young, slim Dan Aykroyd.
Dude, for sure.
Who is a privileged smug.
30. He was 30 there.
He was 30 years old.
Looked it up. Yeah.
Ridiculous, dude. He looks so young and so good. So he's basically a privileged, smug commodities broker at a firm called Duke & Duke. And, of course, he enjoys a luxurious lifestyle, complete with a posh home, his fiancée, Penelope, and many servants.
Man, we should have started this podcast by saying, looking good, Leaf. Feeling good, Chadwick.
Feeling good, Chadwick.
And I should have started off with,
I bet that tastes good.
I'm from the other side of the tracks.
You kind of did.
Yeah. You know.
We also meet the wealthy Duke brothers, the old rich white men that Lewis works for.
Good morning, Mr. Duke. Good morning, Mr. Duke. Good morning, Mr. Duke. Good morning, Mr. Duke. Good morning, Mr.
Randolph and Mortimer, the two brothers that own, of course,
God, just those names, Duke. You know, like
Randolph Mortimer. Yeah, it's perfect, dude.
And of course, the dick.
They're getting in the car together, and they live together, which is even is super weird.
Yeah, man. But if you have like a 10,000 square foot home, it's kind of the shit from Family Guy where they're doing the Little Rascals parody, and he's like, "We'll just swear off dames for the rest of our lives," and then it's just them, and they're like, "I just made another $200 million."
Good thing we swore off women so we wouldn't be distracted and unable to accumulate this vast amount of wealth.
Yes. Hey, you watch the ticker. I'm gonna go microwave a bagel and have sex with it.
Butter's in the fridge.
That's exactly what it's like. It's literally what it is. These two brothers are old. They're old. They're white. They're super rich. They're unmarried, and they live together in this gigantic mansion, and they have more money than God.
Yeah,
and
no
so.
shit.
Yeah, and they're arguing about. So they get in the car with a. Which, by the way, their car has a car phone, and it's just
Early
like the
80s,
most
man.
futuristic. This is 1983.
Yeah,
it's the most
dude.
futuristic technology you've ever seen back.
I
then.
mentioned that too because they even had a computer in there
Yeah,
because
dude,
they were
was, like,
did.
kicking
because
the
they were
stocks
checking
numbers.
Yeah, they were checking stocks. Like, I mean, it was like the old, green letters, like AS400 type thing.
That's just gonna be a running theme for this episode.
They're just gonna play that clip over and over.
Yeah,
over
go ahead
and
and
over
clip
again.
that out.
I shot a kid.
And so they're arguing about the prices of pork bellies because of again, they're commodities brokers, which for those uninitiated, that's basically they trading like coffee, orange juice, just regular everyday items that we all consume.
Consumables, yeah.
Yeah, as Americans and worldwide, obviously. So
they're always trying to like keep their eye on like what the crops are doing, like for the next season.
Yeah, which is really so you have to be a commodities broker, and this movie sort of shows that you got to be very, very good. You got to be on your feet. You have to be because seconds makes the difference between thousands and even millions of dollars.
And we've talked several times about, especially with comedy movies, that we really like when a story is set in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you get your intro and this was not that. This takes a long time for you to get in the meat and the bones, but I really didn't mind it because it was really done well how they kind of have a slow build to introduce you to everything. So I know that we had championed that in the past, but not not the same color for every movie. This is really good. I like this slow build.
You're absolutely right because it's immediately broken up, right? There's not really a lot of comedy at this point in the film. But we finally so the Duke brothers are on their way to the firm. It's in the morning. Lewis you see his morning with his butler. He's getting breakfast and shaving, and it's just so pretentious and just annoying.
Dude,
You're just agitated at this point. But all of that is immediately snapped and broken. Go ahead, Joe.
Him waking up with like the butler, like he's already got his food there.
Dude, he's like
and like
it
shows like how pampered he is. It reminds me of Coming to America when like they play the violins to wake him up and wash his size 15 ding dong in the tub.
His royal, I know I did.
I do.
I know. Yeah, I know I do.
Let them wait.
But all that is cut is immediately just sort of you're pulled out of the moment by Eddie Murphy's character, Billy Ray Valentine.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Thank you very much. Vietnam did this to me, but I'm not bitter. Thank you.
Who is a streetwise hustler posing as a disabled Vietnam vet to scam for money. And let me just say, I'm not even going to try. Don't let any of your friends try to do this scene. You can't. I'm not going to repeat anything that he said.
100% you can't.
You have to watch it. It is one of the most fast talking, insane scenes you've ever heard. And it's so funny.
Thanks a lot. How you like a stump up your ass?
Stay out of here.
You got a lot of soul. Appreciate it.
And it's on the fucking little things you use to change your oil, like the
the
I forgot what they're called.
It's a little dolly.
Like they're like little and
where
so
you
his
slide
legs
on your back underneath it, but he's just got his legs on it, so it looks like his legs are gone.
He's wearing like an old army jacket. He's got these big black sunglasses on because he's acting like he's blind. He's acting like he doesn't have any legs, and he's just like rolling himself, and he's asking people for money or whatever. But one of the funniest things is this girl walks by like in her like business attire, or skirt or whatever, and he grabs her and
I know what you're thinking. You see Paul getting best? We can make it, baby. Me and you. You bitch.
I also love too, like when he sees when the cops are kind of like up on his shtick and the cops see him, and then he remembers he's supposed to be playing blind, and he starts doing the
Stevie Wonder
shit, like which a bunch of comics did definitely in the 80s. That was like a staple. It was good shit.
Yeah, and then the cops, they walk over to him, and he's trying to bullshit them, saying that he was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we
Me
served.
too. Yeah.
Where were you at?
I was in Sang Bang, Dangang. I was all over that place, basically. A lot of places.
They just reach down and grab him like underneath each arm and pick him up. And then you see his like his legs.
His legs fall down, and he's just like,
I can see. I have legs. Oh shit! Look at this, man.
Oh my God, I can see.
yeah.
He starts praising Jesus walking down the street.
Man.
So he's trying to walk away from them.
Glory be to God. Praise Jesus. Look at me. This is too much. I can't believe it.
Billy Ray, obviously, like he's sort of outside this area. I guess it's the club. And in all honesty, I think this is like for later in the movie, but it's almost out of place because earlier that morning, you find at the firm, Lewis shows up with the firm, and it's Christmas or it's about that time or it's getting close, right? They're giving the bonuses. Yeah. Lewis Winthorpe he's good at his job. He saves them. You see a moment
saves them money like on the pork belly early on, tells them what to wait to get to, and then they fucking hit it, makes some money.
Yes.
And then he's also, I guess he's in charge of writing out the checks for payroll.
Yes.
So
that's what's in his briefcase when he's going to there because they've got to actually, because back in the day, I don't know, is it still the case? Does anyone do actual paychecks anymore? Or is it all just direct deposit?
I know.
I get one.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that like they still do. So they do payroll, obviously, right? And my dad wanted me to do that a long time ago, but I freaking hate numbers. Chris knows, like math just fucks me in the ass like constantly. So I don't do math, but they do have somebody that does the books, and they make the
sign it every
paychecks.
year.
And he's to sign or approve. Yeah,
it's funny because like he's got all these checks written out to all the employees, and the Dukes have to sign it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Mortimer. He goes, "My God, we're paying these people this much money," and Winthorpe goes,
"Can't get around the old minimum wage, Mortimer."
That's one of my favorite lines too.
Dude, yeah.
It just shows like how fucking cheap that guy is.
Yeah. And so as soon as
get around that minimum wage,
and so they all go to the club after that, and that's where they run into Eddie Murphy. Like when they're all going to their rich person's club afterwards,
because he bumps into him, and then
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. This is help. What you talking about, man?
Don't shoot. Take it. Please don't kill me.
this man's trying to rob me. Like,
he's exercising that white privilege.
Yeah, exactly. Shouting that, which brings me to like let's not forget Eddie Murphy's black. Like he's he's ghetto, right? Like he's obviously from the wrong side of the tracks. Like, and as soon as he bumps into Winthorpe and knocks him down, like Eddie Murphy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, here's your briefcase," but that guy's like, like he assumes he's being assaulted.
You assaulted me, and you're black.
Yeah,
and then a chase. So the police show up, and Eddie Murphy's character runs into the rich people's club, and the police chase him. And I'm sorry, it was so funny. Like with the cops, they pull the guns on him.
Is there a problem, officers?
There's like 30 guns surrounding
his
him,
face.
like in his face.
It's an iconic shot.
It is really, really funny. Yeah. So they capture Billy Ray, Eddie Murphy's character, and they like start putting the cuffs on him. And there's like one scene right out, like another cop like puts a gun against his head, like he's already giving up and being cuffed. So it's like immediately, but right before that, the brothers were talking. They're talking a philosophical debate, as rich people are probably apt to do because they have infinite amounts of time.
They have nothing to do.
About nature versus nurture, right? They're arguing that one brother believes that if it's your environment that forms you, right? Anybody can succeed. You just need the right environmental factors, and the other brother believes it's genetic. Like you're born and bred as a good or bad person. It's about your blood, your stock, your heritage, right? Of course, spoiler alert, right? Like the first brother turns out to be correctly, and they're so adamant about this argument that they want to make a bet. You can see they cannot settle the argument. And when, as soon as Eddie Murphy's character is arrested, they see their opportunity immediately. They're like, wait a minute, we could settle this argument by trading places, our top executive, Louis Winthorpe, with this street beggar, Billy Ray Valentine, just a criminal, drug abuse.
And it's not enough to make Louis lose his job.
Yes.
They want to see if everything's taken away from him, if he'll turn to crime.
Yeah, some real Job shit.
Yeah,
it really is. It really, but honestly, it's a super fascinating idea when you think about it. So they decide they do want to make this bet. They decide, hey, we're gonna ruin our top executives' life because they can, and take this this black street beggar up to the top level of everything. Give him everything to succeed that they think he needs. And
which is crazy that the owners of the U.S. government, I mean, Duke and Duke would do something like this.
Oh, shit, right? So, one thing I noticed, the girl that Louis is dating or engaged to, I guess, Penelope. The Dukes say that she is their grand niece. So I guess maybe they have another sibling.
I don't know, man. I think that
what is a grand niece?
I think that sometimes those family trees don't exactly split off.
I think that I agree with Chris. I think that's another point where
it's Duke and Lannister.
Sometimes it's pure blood, Shadwick.
Yeah, and you get a lot of that with these two cheap old men. But so
a lot of webbed feet in that family.
Hell, swimmers though.
Well, she's ugly as sin. A hell of a good cook.
Yeah.
So the Duke brothers see that Billy Ray is bailed out of jail, and of course, he's in prison. This is yet another scene. I know Shadwick's not going to let me skip over this, even though
I'm not.
In the notes.
Yeah.
He's in prison, and he's just. Eddie Murphy is Eddie Murphying all over this scene. He's fast talking. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. Not one single thing he says is true.
This was in
hold on. You think the quarter blood technique is a lie?
That's called the quarter blood technique. You do that, a quarter blood will drop out of a person's body.
Dude, this shit was in one of our early episodes, and I had to Google what Shadwick said because it's such a not obscure, but pretty obscure cut when he's like,
Karate man bruised on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
And Shadwick said it in an episode, and I was like, I know that's from a fucking movie, so I Googled it, was able to find the clip and put it in there, but I was like, God damn, what a deep cut. Jesus.
That is
a 1983 comedy when he's in jail for 3 seconds.
There's two big thugs that are there. One of them has a bunch of lines, and the other one doesn't talk. Says one word.
Big Barry White looking motherfucker.
Yeah, he does look Barry White.
So Eddie, he's sitting there and he's got a guy on each side of him, and they're hanging on every word that he's saying, talking about how.
Tell how you beat on the cop.
Wasn't no cop, man. It was cops. Plural. 9, 10 cops. Beat the shit out of 10 cops and had to change my whole strategy around.
How bad he whipped their ass and everything, and then this guy, one of those big guys, hold on a second.
When they brought you in here and booked you, you was crying like a pussy.
and then the guy beside him just goes,
yeah.
But he's bragging also about how he has limousines and that he's rich and wealthy and he's got butlers. And obviously these two guys, these two gigantic dudes call him out, and they're just about to beat the ever living shit out of him. They both grab Eddie Murphy, who is young Eddie Murphy, by the way. I believe he was 20 or 21.
21.
They lift him up and slam him against easily too. Both of them, and he's up in the air and he's against the jail cell. Right as he gets bailed out, the one of the cops is like, Valentine, you made bail, and he's all like, I did. So they obviously let him go, right? And he's totally confused, but he's happy. Obviously, he's getting he starts to walk out of the jail, and some other dude's getting arrested, and Eddie Murphy's like,
Hey, may I suggest using a nightstick, officer?
Like, there's not a second where Eddie Murphy's not got a one-liner in this. Every single time he's like always like talking trash to everybody. And so he finally gets down to the street and the limousine pulls up, this nice car, and the Duke brothers are there. Yeah. And this is one of the most funny scenes to me because this is one of my favorite because they're trying to get him to come in so they can give him the proposition and let him know what they want him to do, lure him in. And like
he's
one of
obvious, he's very hesitant because he thinks they're just going to get him arrested again.
Hey man, don't I know you two guys?
Step inside, nice and warm in here. Whiskey. All you want.
All you can drink. Like, come on in, black guy. Come and drink this delicious free booze.
That's the kid, the candy strip, the candy in the van trip.
I was going to say it's a windowless van, basically.
It's Eddie Murphy. It's his face. The guy, like, who plays Mortimer? What's his name?
That's Don Amici, right?
Don Amici. It's his face. He's got this shit-eating grin. Dude, yeah. He is so happy to try to lure him in.
Yeah.
It's so condescending.
Whiskey.
All you can drink.
He sits down like in between them in the back of this Rolls, and like they've got this little like a box of cigars. Like to offer him one, and he just like grabs a whole thing,
and they're just like laughing at that. Like,
they're not surprised by anything. He is exactly what these rich people think that he is. Like he's trying to get everything he can get. But I mean, that's what it's like when you're poor, which they know nothing about. But they know they're right about him in this moment. Like he takes the whiskey, he's like putting it in his jacket. he's got like
stealing the cigars, and he's just clutching it all like.
And they make the proposition, we want to like put you in this house and have you work for us, and
give you
we're going to give you a salary of $80,000. And he's like, oh, okay. And he sits up because their driver is a black guy.
Yes,
he like sits up and he's like,
"This is a practical joke, right, Brian?" Then these dudes a couple of faggots in, huh?
The guy just like shakes his head.
Yeah.
And he goes,
he says it twice.
He goes, what am I supposed to, what do I do? And the guy goes, and he goes,
"Thank you, you've been helpful."
Right.
And he sits back down.
Yeah, he reaches out to the only other person he thinks he can trust, like the black driver.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense because he can't believe this. Why would two rich white people, show up, give you everything you've ever wanted your entire life, right? A mansion, butlers, servants, clothes, and like an $80,000 job, $80K a year a job. Which, by the way, folks, that's $250,000 a year salary today.
Jesus, this is somebody's salary.
So he sits back down there like, we can just put you back out on the street if you want. And he's like, no, I think I can hang out with you guys for a while.
Yeah.
As he's holding his smokes and
his smokes and his booze.
And so the very next thing they take him to the mansion, and he's still waiting for the
other foot
joke
to drop. Yeah,
he's still waiting, and so they take him to the mansion, and they're trying to convince him that everything that he sees in the mansion is his, and
he's stealing shit.
No, hold on. So right when they get there, like he must stink. He's been on the street or whatever. He's been in prison. So Don Amici tells the butler, it's like,
Valentine very badly wants to take a hot bath and to get into something comfortable, don't you, Valentine?
So it shows him that he's in this big ass whirlpool, and the butler's walking around like straightening stuff up, and the butler tells him,
"Jacuzzis, huh?"
You see, man, I knew y'all was faggots, man. You ain't jacuzzi nobody.
Ain't nobody going to jacuzzi me.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand what the word jacuzzi means. Again, it's so funny because he's so poor, and Eddie Murphy's one-liners are insanely good.
It shows him like he turns on the bubbles and he goes,
"Say, man, when I was growing up, we want jacuzzi. We had to fart in the tub. This is bad."
Which you got to imagine the audience is losing their shit because this is all of us, right? Like we might not be, like street hustlers or whatever, but we've also never, experienced this level of wealth, right?
I can assure you, none of us have ever had a butler.
Yes.
And,
right.
And as we all know, all three of us, we've had those situations where someone's offered us something that's too good to be true.
Oh,
and we got
paranoid as fuck.
We got butt raped every time.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I swear, Scoutmaster Kevin in that van, I really thought this was going to be my Wee Blows badge, but apparently it was my Me Blows badge.
It's solitary. You have to do 4 more before you get the badge. Well, that's what he told me, at least. but yeah. So after that, like he's got some good clothes on, and they're still trying to explain stuff to him. And this is another one of my favorite scenes. Like they're explaining to him, all this stuff in this house is yours, and he's walking around in this room, and he's like, yeah, all this shit's mine, right? And he's trying to steal stuff.
Yeah.
He's putting stuff in his like coat pocket, and he's like, yeah, this is my shit. You know what? I really like my curtains over there. Look at those curtains. And they turn around. He shoves something else in his coat.
He's just stealing.
All this shit's mine.
Yeah, and
it's so damn funny.
He eventually breaks one of the vases.
This is my vase here, right? This is Billy Ray's vase, right? I own this vase, and I can play like Harlem Globetrotter shit with it, in, right? Okay, you want Mellow Lemon shit, right?
Dude, that's great too, is because like he's like, well, what did that cost? And what did they say? It was $35,000 or something.
But
and then he's just like, but we insured it for $50,000, and he's like, see,
William has already made us a profit of $15,000.
He's like, oh, you want me to break some more shit? And they're like, no.
Like, don't destroy this place.
So I think then it cuts back to Winthrop, right?
It does, and so little known fact, if I'm not mistaken, this is Winthrop's place, right?
It is. Yeah, it's his house.
It's owned by the two brothers. So Winthrop's been staying in these two rich brothers' place, which I suppose he rents it from them or whatever, what have you. So they've now given Winthrop's home and butler, which, by the way, on a side note, they call the butler and let him know what they're going to do, and he just goes along.
Oh no, he's just like,
Yeah, even though he calls them jackasses or whatever when he hangs with the phone, he decides he's going to go. The butler decides to go along.
Like the
with
butler
it, so
obviously works for them. He doesn't work for Winthrop, so it's
it's his job.
Exactly. So
he's mom now. So.
And so they've now given all of the wealth, his money, his car, his butler, everything to Billy Ray Valentine, Eddie Murphy's character. And so we cut to the other half of the bet, right? And as Shadwick said, it's not enough that they destroy Winthrop and take his job and get him fired. They want him penniless, homeless, destitute.
All of his friends turn against him.
Yeah, they want him to have nothing. And once he had, like Chris said, a real Job moment. Once he has nothing, the bet is that he will turn to crime. So he has to turn into basically what Billy Ray was before, right? A criminal, with nothing to lose.
So basically, one of the things that we didn't cover in that scene where he had the Dukes signing checks, he found one for $50,000 to Mr. Beeks,
Clarence Beeks,
yeah. And he didn't know what that was for, and they're like, "Oh, he's an outside consultant. He was doing some research for us."
Yeah, they just kind of push it off.
Yeah, so Beeks is their dirty business kind of guy,
right?
Anything they want to hire someone to do that's outside the law.
If you want to mess with the bull,
young man, you'll get the horns.
You're gonna get the horns with Clarence Beeks. Shout out to him from Breakfast Club, the principal.
That's a month. You want more?
So Clarence.
Yes.
So Clarence Beeks, played by Paul Gleason, legendary actor, by the way, y'all, in so many movies, is hired to frame Winthrop for theft, drug possession, and which he does at the club. They basically frame him for stealing.
Now wait a minute. I've never seen this money before in my life.
Which is so funny because what he steals at their gentleman's club where they all hang out is $150.
Yeah, $150, but it's marked because apparently they say people have been stealing from there, so they're trying to find. And then now he's got all this fucking drugs and heroin and shit.
Exactly, because not only do they find the money, Clarence Beeks also makes sure that they find like evidently heroin, like
angel
on him,
dust.
Angel dust. So,
yeah,
That's PCP. Phencyclidine. Angel dust. You ever seen what this stuff does to kids? You are looking at 3 to 5 mandatory.
so he's not only framed for stealing, but like he's framed as a drug dealer, and and just his life is he's immediately arrested. His life is instantly
and that's
destroyed.
one of my favorite, like what that line Chadwick just said is so like it sets up this shit where just nothing's going right for him. So he's like, I've never done like, you know, heroin or whatever before, and they were like, the guy he's like, this is PCP, angel dust. And then so when he's trying to explain this, when you know, like he goes to jail, he gets beat up, he almost gets sexually assaulted by his inmates, his fiance bails him out, and when he's trying to explain it to her,
how could the man I loved, whose children I wanted to have and breastfeed, be a heroin dealer?
It wasn't heroin. It was angel dust, PCP, and
because he's like trying to correct her, but it makes it sound like he was like this drug dealer or whatever.
And Beeks really fucking seals his deal here because he hires what's her
hooker,
what's
Jamie
her face?
Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
Ophelia.
Ophelia.
Her name is Ophelia.
I'll feel you. Beeks hires her to just play a little role. So he's standing out on the courtroom or jailhouse steps, I guess, with his fiance, trying to explain all this away. And here comes this hooker.
I've been looking everywhere for you, baby. Listen, Louis, I'm hurting, baby. I just need a shot.
And she drops to her knees right there. She's like,
Come on, baby. Just a dime bag. I'll do all those things you like.
Shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis for the scene. It is really funny.
Dude,
and
funny as shit.
And of course, Dan Aykroyd's character is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen this woman like in my entire life, and she like is making out with him.
She's
Like,
making out with him.
and calling him by his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's, you know, with all the knowledge she has, it's obvious that she's been getting drugs from him.
Right.
Yeah, or that's what as it
so his
appears.
fiance's gone. He's he's left there, no ride.
Yeah,
penniless.
She's the one that bails him out. So you're right. So he's out of jail thanks to Penelope. She absolutely rejects him, obviously, as any woman would. Like when this happened, because he just looks so guilty. For some reason, he's wearing completely different clothes. That part I couldn't understand. He's got like a fishnet, green shirt on, and like a trench coat, like or whatever. It's so weird, but like he's completely, and he's got a black eye too. So evidently, again, like Chris said, the inmates beat him up and nearly sexually assaulted him, which he mentions, by the way, which is hilarious. Like,
so he's going to split a cab with her. Like, he's like, I don't have any money. We'll go to my house.
Yeah,
I'll run to get my wallet.
Yeah,
and I'll pay you for your time. I'll pay for the cab.
Yeah,
of course. When they get there,
what do you want? Coleman, just unchain the door and let me in. I'm in no mood for jokes. Coleman, there's no Coleman here. You've made a mistake.
Won't let him in the house.
Yep.
Threatens to call the cops on him.
So,
like, I guess
he
gets
goes
back
to the bank after that.
Then they get another cab
because he's gonna get his money out of the bank,
and that's an important like scene because you find out so now he has no home, no butler, and like he can't believe it, right?
No job,
Can you imagine?
no woman, no home, no butler. And
you go to your house and it's not yours. Yeah.
And so he goes to the bank and he finds out all his shit's frozen. So now, no money.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. He has no money. The bank freezes all of his accounts. They take his credit cards, except in 86 countries around the world, which he's bragging to the hooker about earlier.
It's the hooker and I.
I was, God damn it, Chris.
One of us is jumping on that. You know,
it's fine.
I was going to say he was left to nothing, but you know, when people say, you know, where do you live? It's like, well, me and the hooker.
Well, the hooker and I.
The hooker and I.
Chris will play the clip. It's fine.
From there, let's see. Me and the hooker went back to my
hooker
place.
And I.
Excuse me. The hooker and I.
So yes, so the hooker and him leave the bank. He's just destroyed now.
Dude,
He
he's
realizes,
out. Like, what do you do then, right?
what do? You got no money. You got the nothing.
You ain't got no
Literally
money,
nothing.
and you can't even take your broke ass home because there's no home
Because
to
your
take
home
it
doesn't
to.
exist. Yeah, and he's literally on his knees. He's losing his shit. But for some reason, the hooker takes pity on him.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Listen,
Well, it's
I'm
because
gonna
all
regret this."
hookers have a heart of gold. If you know that.
Well, from
Yeah.
Hollywood film, yes.
So she believes him though.
I believe him, yo. I don't know why, but I do.
I don't know why, but I do.
I believe him, yo.
She's a dirty ass hooker too. She kisses on the mouth.
You know,
we seen it. I mean, well, that's the other thing too. Is like you can start to see a relationship form between them because she really likes him. She is attracted to him clearly, obviously, almost from the get go, and she believes the things he's saying. So she actually invites him to come stay and live with her until he is redeemed, back on his feet, et cetera, and with the condition that he pays her 6 figures. And don't mention the scene because I know you want to. It doesn't happen yet because as they're in the cab on the way to the hooker's place, they run into
the
Billy
driver
Ray
and Billy.
Valentine.
Right there, the dude right over there.
That's my car, Coleman.
They see each other, and of course, but even Billy Ray, like Eddie Murphy's character, is like, wait a minute, this is weird. That's the guy that
'Cause he
had
saw
me
him too.
arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. They see each other, and so of course Dan Aykroyd's hanging out of the window of the cab, being like, "That's my driver, that's my car, that's my life." As the traffic pulls off, and they go their different directions, which I love. It's almost symbolic because they've completely switched places. And dude's being driven to this poor ass hooker's house in the ghetto, while Eddie Murphy is being driven to the high class job that he now has to go and work.
It's almost
And
like they were like trading places.
He said it. He said it.
It almost is. It's as if they have traded.
He said it.
It happens. Yes. So Billy Ray shows up for his first day at the brokerage with his street level intelligence, and of course, he is an absolute natural at predicting the prices. Coming up, you get the scene where they're going, that you just see what's happening to each one of them before it sort of collides and intersects, which is awesome writing, by the way.
Yeah,
really good.
This movie is super well written. Like, I'm actually sad that I didn't watch the unedited version for so long because edited on TV, sometimes it just doesn't fucking work.
I would have really pushed. I tried to get you guys to come over to my house so we could all watch this together. If I had known that you had never seen the unedited version,
neither of us,
I would have I would have pushed for that because that would have done my heart well to see you guys seeing that for the first time.
Dude, there'll be opportunities because there's a lot of shit in the 80s that I've only seen for
on
the
USA
most part,
and TNT.
or I only remember, even if I have.
Because we weren't a big. Neither one of us had HBO or Showtime outside of the free.
No, we had rich friends who did, and that's what we always talk about. That guy, he had, in my opinion, was very wealthy. He would probably argue that wasn't the case, but compared to us, dude, he had all the great shit.
So, like you said, on his first day, he's kicking ass. He's a natural at it because he basically compares it to gambling, which is something I've said since we worked at the fucking movie theater.
Well, it sounds to me like you guys are a couple of bookies.
I told you he'd understand.
You did say
the
this.
stock markets are legalized fucking gambling.
Yeah,
it is.
And I was like, I would have a much better chance if you let me bet on sports than if you would have me invest in fucking Doge or GameStop or whatever the fuck the new fad is.
You'd have a lot better fucking luck if you married Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, turns out she has the briefcase too. The big plot point here too, the changes are coming when I think it's Mortimer, they try to set Billy Ray up by dropping the money clip with all the money in it, and Billy Ray picks it up and returns it instead of stealing it. So it's okay, so now he's starting to turn the corner on this.
The hooker basically is like, listen, here's the deal. Once you get your money back, your fortune, everything.
I'm talking about a business proposition, Louis. I help you get yourself back on your feet and you pay me in cash 5 figures.
until then, I'll let you live here. But again, there's sort of a romantic thing happening. And this is right when they get to her apartment, right? That same morning. And as Billy Ray is ascending and becoming an exceptional commodities broker with his street level knowledge, the hooker is sort of setting this guy up for, you know, whatever it is, the life that he's going to be living from now on in this shitty apartment in this place that she's paying for with hooking. And that's when she
and you also find out she's been like investing the money she's been making while being a hooker.
I've saved 42 grand and it's in T-bills earning interest. I figure I got 3 more years on my back. I'll have enough to retire on.
And then,
yes,
and then and only then.
Well, she takes off her wig, and then Chris Tucker goes, "God damn!"
She looked more like Freddie Jackson
because she had this weird like redheaded perm.
Yeah,
and it's you
she
find out
looks
it's
way better with the short hair anyway.
She does. She just like her build. Like
and then man, she takes the shirt off, and you get to see her
rockin' chicks.
I'm going to go against
a soundbite.
I'm going to go against the grain here.
All right.
You're
she has fantastic tits, but I just never was attracted to Jamie Lee Curtis. I put her in the same category as Sigourney Weaver.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What, dude? Wait a minute. True Lies. Jamie Curtis with Sigourney Weaver. Are you serious, dude? How?
Too lanky.
No, it does nothing for you. Huh? I mean, our respect.
You're doing military presses. You're dead wrong. Next.
There are no dumbbells in here. Just my balls.
Just your balls.
So
all right. Hot take from Shadwick.
And so the day is completed. We got the audience gets to see Jamie Lee Curtis's naked breasts, and also Billy Ray Valentine.
They're real and they're spectacular.
It's true. It's damn true.
To get this whole to get these episodes, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. You got to go all the way back and watch all of our old episodes. You're missing out on a lot of inside jokes here.
This is the culture. Be part of the culture here. Be kind. Let's rewind. And so immediately at the end of the day, Billy Ray's character decides to celebrate. Right? He's had his first day at work. He is super wealthy. He decides to go to none other than where the majority of us would go to flex, just the dive bar you would frequent. And this is what Shadow was talking about earlier, is that he wants to go and show off. Like he's got a butler, he's got a driver, he's got a really high-class job, which actually he's good at. You know, he's got to be on top of the world. And so he shows up to his bar.
Is this when the term is used, the JT?
Jive turkey is a little over the line, my man.
Because I actually have something I wrote for that. So
which one?
The big Barry White looking motherfucker calls him a JT.
Yeah. It ain't cool being no jive turkey so close to Thanksgiving.
So look, here's what, just hear me out here. I had to turn it off after they used the term jive turkey. I refuse to participate in anything as vile as that term. This movie should be canceled and taking off all streaming platforms. So, go ahead and take what I just said and replace it with any other word and look how ridiculous that fucking sounds.
Unless you're talking about Baby It's Cold Outside.
Hey, that's incoming. We're gonna
get to that one. We're gonna get to that one. Yes, Chris is correct. He so at the bar he runs into the two dudes he found in prison who indeed did called him a jive turkey. Unacceptable.
Absolutely cancel the fucking movie.
Destroy the movie.
Sometime in 2050, someone's gonna be like, "You got to take off every movie." I'm telling you, kiddos, buy DVDs. It's shit's gonna be changing. They're changing art right in front of our fucking eyes.
Excuse me, I can help. I speak jive.
It's true.
Yeah, listen to Mrs. Beaver.
At the bar, he runs into all of his old friends, and of course, those two guys that were in prison who call him out yet again. They're like, "Listen, you're a slack talking jive turkey who just lies about everything."
Slack-jawed what?
Yeah, you ain't got no butler, and even though he's got brand new clothes on, because Eddie Murphy looks tight, like he's got the freaking
fucking
expensive.
slick. Yeah,
Didn't you say something about a limousine?
Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, actually, it's right outside. So the two guys from the prison go out there and look, and there's the butler waiting for Eddie Murphy to come out. He's waving, and they're just like, damn, like this guy's actually telling the truth. He actually was rich, and to prove it, he invites everybody over for a party to his house.
And he learns a valuable lesson, and that is don't hang out with scavengers. And that's what these people are. These people are scavengers. We all have those friends. They're like, hey, man, you want to order a pizza? I'll chip in. And then they never chip in. Or they show up, they drink all your beer. They don't leave any money.
We actually coined...
I feel attacked.
No, that is not you.
That is definitely not you. Like, and Chris and I actually coined that term a long time ago with people that are in our like outer or even inner circle that we would hang out with them. Like we called them, we
stole it from Half Baked because there's a scavenger smoker.
You guys know who you are.
You do.
You're bad, and you should feel bad. We call it's a play on the scavenger smoker from Half Baked, but it's what these friends are. They come over, they're drinking all his drinks, they're trashing the place, they're ashing on the rugs, and suddenly
who put that cools out on my rug?
Yeah, he now gives a fuck about things like this because it's his stuff.
Now it's his stuff.
Yeah, the girl, like they got music playing loud. The girls are like stripping off, and they're showing their weird
breastises. There's so many.
Yeah.
The girl upstairs in the bed. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. He goes,
she may classify as
rockin' chicks.
He's talking to the butler. He's like, hey, there were more people here a while ago. What happened to him? He's like, I think some of them went upstairs. He's like, to my bedroom?
Yeah.
So he goes up there, he runs them out, and he comes back downstairs. And again, this is one of my favorite parts. I guess maybe it's just him turning the corner or whatever, but it's so damn funny the way he does it. Like, he's like, can I have your attention, please? Hey, everybody listen up. Like, everybody's still dancing.
They're partying. The music's loud.
He just like unplugs the stereo, and he's like,
get the fuck out.
You get the record scratch, even though at this point in time in the 80s is 100% cassette tape. Like, but it
doesn't
happens.
matter. He gets them out, man.
He throws everybody out, and the butler's like, listen, I'll clean up. You've got a big day ahead, et cetera, you know, and that's the end of that scene. Winthrop go ahead.
Yeah. Winthrop tries to now reconnect with his old Harvard buddies who are singing fucking bar tunes for some reason.
Muffy in the bathroom stall, Margaret by the lake.
Yes, so
this shit reminds me of the other guys when they're singing the sad Irish songs in the bar, like Will Ferrell's in there.
It was consensual.
Doing that shit.
I asked Christy, do you think at like Ivy League schools they still do this shit, or do they have these like singing clubs?
They do. I can promise you that, because you know what? I was part of one, not in college, but in college, yes, too. Back in the day when in college,
did you wear the V-neck sweaters?
Mm-hmm.
I did not, thankfully. So they've actually changed.
That's a lie.
And so in college, I was part of what we would consider like the chamber choir. That's what they called it. Now, we weren't affiliated with any particular frat house, but they did have their own version of that. And I don't know if it still exists to this very day, but there were choir groups, and like they would sing, you know, the praises of you know,
fucking choir boy.
They would sing the praises of Delta Kappa Phi or whatever. Can you
give us felt a thigh?
Can you give us a few solid bars of Mr. Sandman?
I cannot do that.
Mr. Sandman,
bring me some cream.
Blow it on my tees. You know what I mean.
Mr. Sandman, give me that cream.
Lewis tries to reconnect with his old Harvard buddies at the tennis club and get a loan, obviously, from them. He has no ends. He has nothing. So that he can defend himself against these erroneous charges because he knows he's innocent.
And dude, like most Harvard buddies and good friends, they turn their back on him because they're mostly scum.
Frankly, Winthorpe, and I think I speak for all of us, I think it shows incredibly bad taste for you to come here and embarrass us all like this.
They're absolute trash because they can't be seen with somebody who's disgraced, right?
Right.
And this is really poignant.
And that's why you guys suck at basketball.
That's exactly what it is. Because you're so exclusive, you've eliminated anyone.
Remember one fucking year in March Madness, I think it was Princeton. They're like, "Oh, they do backdoor cuts." I'm like, "Yeah, because that's all they could fucking do." Like we learned that shit in middle school. Like, what do you want from me?
They do a lot of backdoor cuts in prison basketball too.
Exactly. It's like, God.
And so Lewis obviously gets completely rejected by his friends. They want to have nothing to do with him. Like, so he's at this point in time, he's officially lost everything.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a drug dealing piece of shit that lives with a hooker. You know.
I mean, but he's not actually selling drugs. He's not even pulling in the drug money. That's the crazy part, right? Like, he's innocent of all charges, and his life is just
that's what he should have done.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they want him to do.
Give me back my PCP.
Yeah, it's mine if it's on me.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I brought
mine.
it in here.
So now
that's not mine.
Yeah, now it's stripped. Now he's stripped of everything. So he's going to pawn this sweet Ivy League watch that he has, this '80s watch, for $50. $50 is all he's going to get because that dude. What does he say? It's hotter than what?
Man, that watch is so hot, it's smoking.
He's only going to give him $50 for it, and then so
it's worth $6,000,
right? And then so he looks down and he's like, I love how like subtle this is. Real quick, you're like, okay, he's going to get the $50 run. And he's like,
how much for the gun?
Because it just like pans down and then it just cuts, and you're like, oh shit, what's going down now?
Now he has a gun, exactly, and you can see him start to turn. His life has hit rock bottom. He's been framed. He has nothing, no job, no money. Yeah, he is. He's starting to be like, this is it. And so
this is kind of fucked, we
get the scene where he's standing outside in the rain, and this scene makes me laugh every time. So you get the setup is this. In this fancy restaurant, you see the Duke brothers, you see Eddie Murphy, like their new protege. You see all of these rich people. There's a judge in there. Shout out Phil. Obviously all these people are corrupt. They're hanging out, just chilling, enjoying their lives in this fancy restaurant, this fancy meal. And for some reason, nobody sees him, but there's like a spotlight in the rain Dan Aykroyd's standing there, and he's just like getting
as
rained
Eddie
on.
Murphy's like characters, like Billy Ray's making them laugh and making the right talks and decisions, really like ingraining himself with these people. He's just getting more and more pissed off watching this from the outside.
This is what causes him to snap. But there's one rung lower that he reaches. Oh yeah, like soon enough. But yeah, this is what causes him to snap. And
so
he's
got no money and everything, and that actually leads me to shit stuck in my head this week.
What? That sounds great. And you know what? It'll be nice having a little extra cash to bet on college football. Yeah, I'd like to bet $100.
You want to pick a team?
No, just take it.
And that's been my college football betting season, everyone.
Man, I think it's been everybody's. It's just been fucking up in the air.
Sorry, man. Continue on.
I love it. And so, this causes basically him to he gets really ill. Obviously standing out in the rain, he gets a fever, he gets sick, and he goes back to
You know what makes me feel better when I'm sick?
Rockin' Church.
Yes, so
I think that needs its own logo.
Yeah, Chadwick, get on that.
Yeah. We'll put it up in the middle of when he says that. yeah, with sound effects. And so he goes back to the hooker's place, and obviously, like I mentioned before,
the hooker and I,
hooker and I are his Jamie Lee Curtis is like starting to fall for him. And she has a hooker appointment, but she cancels it because Winthrop is sick and from standing out in the rain, brooding about revenge. Yeah. And so he lies down, and Jamie Lee Curtis completely disrobes You also see she's like wearing like a 80s version of a thong, and her body is just immaculate. I'm sorry, it is. It's insane.
It is.
I'm not even really necessarily into like thinner girls, but it's just her. She's perfect. Like I see why Dan Aykroyd pushed for her in this film. She's flawless. You see her tits
did he?
again.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Chris said earlier. Yeah, so she basically disrobes and like gets in the bed with Dan Aykroyd's character naked to warm him up.
Yeah,
yeah. She needs to. Yeah, he's so cold and he's feverish. Like, you know what helps?
Chow so cold.
Yeah, is skin to skin contact. So she gets in the bed with him and takes care of him. And so the next morning he's feeling better. Everything is good. I don't know if they ever banged. It's not really talked about, but I assume no. And because he's still just obsessed with getting his life back, he still thinks he's going to get everything back that he lost. And so he opens that. She's like, "Just read your newspaper. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm going to go make breakfast for you, etc." And he opens the paper, and what does he see?
Christmas, huh? I'll give him a Christmas present he'll never forget.
He sees Billy Ray's the up and comer. He knows that Billy Ray is the guy who is going to be the next darling of the financial district. And that's it. He's lost everything. This guy has stolen his life. He's going to get it back. He's positive of that. So he goes to one of the greatest scenes, the second greatest scene, in my opinion, the Christmas party, dressed as dirty, bad Santa.
And he's just fucking drinking. He's throwing salmon in his suit. He's putting prime rib in his suit.
Dude, he's stealing food.
Man's got to eat.
Dude, and he is. And he's eating good at this point because, and he's just like, and so he's going to go plant the drugs in the desk.
Yeah, he's got drugs with him. And
he goes to Valentine's office and he's just like, he's got pill bottles and joints and needles. Like he's just dumping it all into his desk. And of course, Valentine catches him in there, and the Dukes are right behind him. He's like, "Man, I just caught him planting this shit in here."
Because Valentine in this work, right where Valentine, like he saw another check as well from the $10,000 check.
The
so he went to go ask them about it, and they said, "Oh no, we'll take care of that or whatever." So that's why he's out of his office.
Yeah,
and then he's got to finish up some work, and that's when he goes back. So you have the second clue of like, hey, something's fishy going on with this dude. With these checks.
Hello, security. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, he pulls out a gun. He puts it to Eddie Murphy's head, and everybody's freaking out. Like the Duke brothers are like, "You've lost your mind." And as Chris mentioned, there were two scenes here that are really, really important. Besides the hilarity of Dan Aykroyd stealing food and prime rib and just putting it in his dirty Santa pockets. It was. You find out again that
it smells like fish in here.
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy, like
in a hooker's house. It's weird.
Eddie Murphy, just like Dan Aykroyd's, like who is like Beaks? Like who is this guy? Yeah. And they're like, it's nobody, right? Yeah. And they also are like, they're closing in on their bet. Like Eddie Murphy is a success. It's nearly done.
And so they're ready for the second part, which is
the second half, which is Lewis. They need Lewis
has to commit a crime.
He's got to turn to crime, basically, like making him equal to Eddie Murphy in the beginning of the scene, right? And it happens. He's trying to plant drugs, and he hits rock bottom. And when they catch him trying to plant the drugs, and he's like, see, I caught Eddie Murphy. Like, he tries to do what happened to him, right? Yeah. But he has like no power. He has no authority. Nobody believes him, and that's like part of the movie. It's like
no credibility,
no money, no nothing. He's just a crazy man in a Santa outfit.
Like runs out. He runs out of the building with a gun. He jumps up on the table. Which, by the way, did you notice his shoes in this? He's got lifts on when he jumps up on that table, and I was like, God damn, brother, be careful now. It's like he runs, he just jumps up and he's on that table, and then he like jumps down, and I was like, Gah!
I actually wondered if that was him that jumped up onto the table.
As far as I could tell, it was. Like I tried to look at the face and everything. Yeah. It looked just like him, but I mean, I was like, in those shoes, man, because it was almost like cowboy boots, like the way the heel is and the lift and everything. I was like, those are not the fucking grip shoes to jump up on a table with a cloth on it. But you know what? I wasn't the safety fucking director on that movie, so whatever.
Exactly. And so he runs out like crazed in his Santa outfit. And as Chadwick mentioned, Billy Ray's character, Eddie Murphy, is cleaning up the drugs that
he's throwing them all away.
Throw them away.
Except for
Yeah, it's like I
takes
mean,
a little J, you know,
he takes a little J for himself.
Yeah,
which
And
he summarily
he
decides
goes
to smoke in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to waste it. He's not going to wait on it.
No,
he's got a Christmas party to go to, so he's going to go to the bathroom.
I will not go to a Christmas party fucking sober. I'll tell you that much.
No.
No, Be Kind to Rewind does not condone going to Christmas party sober.
I will not. I will not go to family Thanksgiving tomorrow sober.
Good. You got a lot of wine to drink.
Yep, I do. I bought a couple more bottles today.
Nice.
So yeah, he's standing on the toilet so he can blow the pot smoke into the vent or whatever.
So they can't see him like when they come in, because even the brothers when they come in, they get down to see if anybody's in there, because now it's down to brass tacks, and we find out the payoff.
Yeah, we find out this is the big reveal, and it's a big slap in the face. So the brothers settle their bet. Everything, it's done. It's over. Mortimer has lost the bet, and, he's obviously upset, so he has to pay his brother the gigantic sum that they bet upon of...
Here, $1.
$1.
Yeah,
$1 to not only lift a person out of the gutter and propel him into success, but to take a successful person and strip everything from him and place him in the gutter.
And so, and what they're going to do now they're going to reverse it. They're going to wait till the end of the year.
Well,
and then they're going to reverse it. And
well, you ask him, he's like, so what do we do now?
Keep Valentine on as managing director?
Do you really believe I would have a run our family business, Randolph?
Drops the N-word and in front of Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy at this point in time is like peeping over and looking. And he immediately is just like can't believe what he's hearing. Like, these two are the most evil men, most entitled rich assholes on the planet.
Yeah, and he used the hard R.
He did.
He did. Yeah. Proving again that they believe that he's still a racist, even though he found out that environmental factors in the movie are more important than your genetic build, right? Like, he's still a racist, but he said they both are.
Well, yeah, you find out the other guy is racist as well.
That's because
the guy's like, I'm not going to leave our business to be ran by a black guy, and the guy's like,
neither would I.
We're not letting a black person run our business.
So they're all
even if he's
they're
good.
both terrible fucking people. So the stage is fucking set now, but not before you see Lewis in Shadwick's favorite scene. So he's fucking completely hammered. He's the scene where he's eating the salmon on the bus through the beard, and pieces of the beard come off,
dude.
And he's like, so you see him pulling it.
We get the point where Lewis is actually at rock bottom. This is it. Like Chris said, he's eating the salmon from the that he stole from the party out of his dirty Santa outfit.
Fucking hammered.
He's hammered beyond belief. It's just nasty, dude.
Billy Ray tries to talk to him. That's where you get your Shadwick.
Billy Ray, he knows about the bet now, so he's trying to find Winthorpe. He's wanting to tell him what's happened. And he I don't know where they're at, in the basement of this building.
It looks like a bus station or something, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like this big, long corridor. Eddie's on one side, and he sees the stumbling Santa, on the other end of the corridor, and he's like, "Hey, Winthorpe!"
Yeah. And so that's just but then so he just walks away. It's like us trying to wrangle any of our drunk friends. It's just like they're not going to listen to you at this point. So it's like
it's over.
You might as well just let them sober up and get the hangover done.
They're going to drive.
Allegedly, that's ignorant.
They're going to drive home.
They're going to stop and get crystals.
Yeah, and you're going to be like, Shadwick, call me when you get home. So
you're going to be like, Shadwick, don't fall for a trap.
Don't you're like,
don't
go for crystals, and you're like, but so
when he gets, I'm not.
Lewis steps off the bus, and this is one of my favorite parts in the movie. He steps off the bus with the upcoming scene, by the way.
Yeah,
he steps off the bus, and everything is rock bottom. He has nothing. He's hammered. He's eating dirty salmon out of his Santa outfit and beard, and he steps off the bus, and a dog runs up.
pisses on him.
I forgot about that,
dude. Then it starts to rain.
It rains.
And so I do have a question in one of my notes about this. So we have talked about in Ninja Turtles where they added the post sound effect of where Tatsu kills the kid, right? He kills him in the movie, and then there's the post clip where it's like, he's okay. So in this one, he takes a gun, he puts it to his head, and it misfires. So then he throws the gun. And I wondered if in post they did the gun the gun goes off when he throws it. I wonder if that was added in post to lighten the moment a little bit, to where it's still dark, but it kind of is like a tee-hee, nothing's going right for you. Because if you don't do that, it's like, it's funny, and then he tries to shoot himself in the head, and it's not so funny now. Like, like we kind of crossed the line, and then the gun misfires, and it fires when he throws it on the ground. Now it's funny again.
Did we get a cat off screen? Like a cat yelling at some point in this movie?
Maybe.
I feel like we did.
I don't remember.
That's
like something gets thrown and then you hear the cat like
that shit gets me every time.
Same here. That's always funny. But so this is when he goes and he takes a whole bunch of pills and he just goes straight into the apartment and just tries to off himself, man. Like
after
OD on pills.
After his first unaliving attempt, he goes back to Jamie Lee Curtis's joint, gets in the bathtub, and is just like, I'm ending it. She mentions, she's like, oh, you're back from the Christmas party, and Shavuk's favorite line.
Hi, Louie. Merry Christmas.
Isn't this where Billy Ray comes in the apartment?
Billy Ray's been following him the entire time,
right?
Trying to let him know, hey, like, I know you got taken advantage of. I have nothing to do with this. Like, there was a bet, and explain the plot, but it's too late. Lewis is already OD'd in the tub. The hooker helps him break in, and they manage to narrowly rescue him by taking him back to the rich apartment.
Well, he goes to the doctor. I guess the rich apartment, and then the doctor comes.
The doctor comes. Yeah, the doctor comes.
Because that's what happens when you have a really rich apartment. Doctors come to you.
You don't go to the hospital. That's for plebeians, man. Yeah, the doctor comes to your house.
Is that what communism is?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's still a bad idea then.
Yeah.
One of the funniest scenes then, Lewis Winthrop wakes up and he thinks it's all a dream. He's back in his original bed. His butler's standing over him.
It was just a dream.
I had a horrible dream.
I was poor and no one liked me. I lost my job. I lost my house. Penelope hated me.
Then he sees Eddie Murphy standing there.
And he just jumps off the bed to choke him.
Trying to strangle him because he realizes it's all true.
It wasn't me.
It was the jokes. It was the jokes.
You're a dead man, Valentine!
So he explains the whole thing. And it's, I mean, I guess because this movie runs about 2 hours and some change right at 2 hours. So there's not a real big part here where you can do the whole, hey, is he going to forgive him? Like, look, you're going to have to forgive. They forget. We got to wrap this bitch up is basically how it is with this movie, right?
Yeah.
So, we've got the evil. We've got the good. Let's go conquer the evil. And so here they go.
Exactly. They come up with a plot. My favorite like part of the scene is like Dan Aykroyd's character still cleaning guns.
You know, you can't just go run and shoot people in the kneecaps with a double-barrel shotgun because you pissed at them.
Why not?
It's called assault with a deadly weapon.
Like, he's done. Like, he's gonna start. He's just gonna.
He's gonna just shoot him. Yeah,
just shoot him. And then Eddie Murphy's the voice of reason now.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, you get like 20 years for assault with a deadly weapon. Obviously, Dan Aykroyd still doesn't know anything about the streets.
Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. He's ready.
Eddie Murphy's like, let's do it a more intelligent way. And they find out that the two Duke brothers are participating in insider trading, which, of course, for those of you who don't know, is wildly against the law on paper.
Yes.
Even though lots of people do it still, you're not allowed to know the futures report before they're released.
No.
No?
It was not against the law when this was happening.
You're kidding me.
To know reports and things like that, this is actually what caused. There's actually a rule to have insider information to sell high. It's actually called the Eddie Murphy rule on the stock exchange. When I went to do some research,
you're kidding me.
Are you serious?
I'm dead fucking serious. I read it. I actually went.
You serious, Clark?
I looked it up, and so I don't remember when it happened, but it wasn't insider trading per se. It was, I guess, the way that it's phrased. I'll have to look it up, guys. Just look up Eddie Murphy rule on the stock exchange. It's a real thing, and it happened. And now you can't do it. But before, people could be like, okay, basically, I think it prevents you from doing having some information, buy low, sell high, whatever. Like,
yeah, if you can, okay. So according to Google AI, the Eddie Murphy rule is a term used to describe the law that prohibits the use of non-public government information for trading.
There you
the
go.
rule was established by the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010.
Yep.
Before the Dodd-Frank Act, it was legal to use crop information before it was released to the public, which is what the characters in the movie Trading Places
so
did.
It's
the Duke brothers.
It's, to me, that's insider trading, but I don't know if that falls under something else. Maybe insider trading was always against the law, and this is different because it's crops or something.
It is
I don't
different
know.
because it's commodities, so
Okay.
it's not it's not quite the same thing as insider trading. I mean, it is, but
you're just getting a heads up. But anyway, so this movie, there's a fucking law because of this movie now. So
I can't.
That's
believe
hilarious.
it.
Yeah,
it wasn't enshrined.
Be kind,
until
let's
2010.
rewind. We fucking deliver.
Dude, we
Fuck that
absolutely do.
podcast. Buy a shirt for Christ's sake.
All right. So
sakes.
So Eddie Murphy's plan. How do you really pay back rich people? You make them poor.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna do what basically was done to Lewis, and that's sort of like the penance. Obviously, Eddie Murphy's gonna pay, even though he was taken advantage of. He's gonna help make all of their team rich and the rich people poor, and they're gonna do that by stealing the crop report and swapping it with a fake one to basically trade on the stock market themselves and screw
knowing
the
this
commodities.
knowledge that
and
they're going
screw over
to they're going to buy a lot, so the price is going to get driven up, and then
exactly.
Yeah. So basically, like, if you know, I guess the crop report would cover like how the crop survived through the weather of the previous year or whatever. If there was a hard winter, you wouldn't have as many oranges.
Exactly. So they would be more expensive because demand would be up. Supply and demand.
Supply and demand is all this is. And if you have prior knowledge before the agricultural department releases the report, then you're able to trade on that knowledge ahead of time. And evidently the report was released during the trading day. So if you knew, you could sell or buy ahead of time and make a ridiculous amount of money. And that's what the Duke brothers planned.
The only thing that would be dirtier than that would be like if you knew that everyone was going to be, I don't know, forced to wear like a mask or something. And you just sunk a bunch of money into these companies that make masks.
Or like say that there's like probably going to be like a federally mandated vaccine, and there's this one company that's got like the heads on it, and then people hypothetically from both sides and both parties invest heavily into that stock. Hypothetically, I mean, basically everything we're saying right now is just
allegedly that's ignorant.
Just hypothetical stuff we're talking about here, guys.
But if you could like be one of the people that makes the decision that makes everybody buy this commodity, and man, that would be fucking dirty, right?
Yeah, it would be dirty. While the rest of the public is waiting for the knowledge, you get it ahead of time, so you're able to take advantage of that.
While the rest of the world is waiting for their loan to come through to buy some fucking eggs.
They're like, "Hey, here's $200. Thanks, guys."
Yeah. Here's a one-time payment of $700 because you lost everything.
And so moving away from the digression, we come to the greatest scene of the movie. It's not even a question. This movie goes absolutely off the rails from anything.
So
we've seen.
I've got a couple of things before we get into this, just to set up this thing. All right,
please.
So as they're getting on this train, this is where the deal's going down, where they're going to swap. The Happy New Year gorilla is Jim Belushi, John Belushi's brother.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure most people know. What the fuck is up with apes in the 80s, man? They always had apes in fucking movies in the 80s.
They thought it was so funny,
dude, they had
man.
it. We talked about it in the Goonies. They had it like edited out. There was a whole fucking side scene of apes and shit. And also, shout out Steven Stucker from Airplane.
And Leon's getting larger.
He's in this.
He's in this too as the ape handler, and he actually died 3 years after this came out.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Another tie-in to this, we talked about the Dodd-Frank Act, which stopped people from insider trading. Al Franken, who is from the Dodd-Frank Act, is in this movie.
Yes, he is. That's crazy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
All
weird,
right,
huh? And then what? The last note I have: can we bring back dressing up for New Year's? I like that idea. I like everybody's starting to get sour on New Year's because everybody's like, "Boo, booze of the week," and I'm like,
Let's do
"Yay, booze of the week."
Ooh, let's do a 1925 party.
Dude, that's my wife and I had a Great Gatsby style wedding, dude. That was the thing for our wedding. Dude. We're all about that, man. I'll squeeze into my.
You heard it here first.
Speaking of, never mind.
Everybody that's listening to this, you're invited. I'll send Shadwick's address in a Instagram post. Day and time. You can come to his house. Anyway,
it's going to be a garden party. All the doors will be locked. And it's late at night. The lights won't be on, but you're all welcome.
It is dark. I cannot see you. Come closer.
We get the final, basically the final scene that matters in this film. The Eddie Murphy,
which I'm sorry, this is where it kind of loses me. I don't.
Yeah,
I love the movie in its entirety, but this, I guess, this is the third act. You're
not wrong. This third act is absolutely unbelievably wacky.
I think it's what it is. It doesn't fit with the rest of the movie where everything else was. Yeah, they dealt with like stereotypes, but
this is like Bailey. This is real slapstickish. But I think I think the timepiece of this is what makes me laugh now because like you know how it's like your mom tells you can't curse and every time you curse it's funny. So like you can't do half of these stereotypes now. So now they're funnier to me. Because they're like, you can't do that. Like when, the drunken Irish priest, like
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Is the Austrian girl, but she has a Swedish accent. Eddie Murphy playing the African fucking villager, which is amazing. Like stills the scene with this one.
Merry New Year!
Happy New Year. In this country, we say Happy New Year.
Ha 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 ha!
He does that big laugh every time.
Which, let me just say, so each one of the characters in the film, obviously the butler who is rectified now and part of Team Eddie and Team Dan Aykroyd. We got the hooker who's with them, and both Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. All four characters are going to steal this information and swap it out, and they're on a train. With a gorilla for some reason who was in a cage.
Fucking apes in the 80s, man.
I guess they found out Beaks was going to be on this train.
Yeah, Clarence Beaks is on there, so that's where they're going to steal it's a great heist, right? They're going to steal his information from his briefcase. And that's exactly what they do. But for some reason, each one of them dresses up as a different racial stereotype. As Chris mentioned, Jamie Lee Curtis is wearing lederhosen, but she's so stupid, she has a Swedish accent.
No, I am Inga from Sweden.
Sweden? But you're wearing lederhosen.
The butler's a drunken Irish priest.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy is like an African villager, and for some reason, I realize he's black. This still seems really racist when he starts singing. I'm not going to repeat it. Just put the clip in, dude. It's so messed up, bro.
And this is where we got the trigger warning from the first of the movie.
We do.
Dan Aykroyd is
the coup de grace.
Yeah.
I certainly hope there's enough space on the train for me. Nenge Yomboko from Cameroon.
Like it's obvious. Like
the joke is it's bad. Like the joke is like in the Always Sunny episodes, which have been removed now from Hulu for blackface. The joke in those episodes is you shouldn't do blackface. Like there's like we're not saying like fucking 1920s and 30s and 40s. Like that shit's stupid and that's racist. I get that. But there are ways in comedy where you can do this is fucking funny. Because it's so over the top and dumb, and that's when they get busted, right? Like with he starts to smell it out where it's like kind of weird, and then it's like when Dan Aykroyd busts in, it's Jamaican accent with these fucking shitty dreads and like
he's
blackface,
and he's acting like he knew Eddie Murphy from.
Oh God, yes, yeah,
whatever,
some African conference or something.
Yeah. And they start doing that stupid ass like song,
dude.
And you can see where the blackface paint doesn't come all the way down on his neck. It's the worst shit you've ever seen. And this is the worst part. Clarence Beeks frames Lewis Winthrop. He knows him. He knows what he looks like. But for some reason in the beginning, he doesn't realize that it's Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, he doesn't catch on until he just happens to see them swapping the briefcase.
Yes.
Yes. This shit again.
But he catches them trying to swap the briefcase back.
Right.
So he still has the wrong one.
To deliver to the bad Duke brothers.
So he's gonna fucking off these guys now.
Yeah, he pulls out a gun. He has them all, and he's gonna get rid of them because they're all like he discovers the plot. And so he's not gonna kill them there in that cart.
No, he walks into the back of the train, into the cargo.
No more cockamamie cigar smoke. No more Swedish meatballs there, Tootsie.
Where the gorilla is located in the cage.
You need a gorilla.
Because you need a gorilla, and a really drunken John Belushi doing his best to be Jim Belushi in this scene. His damnedest eventually goes back there with them on accident, and he's wearing the ape suit. And long story short, Clarence Beeks gets knocked out, and they
by the gorilla.
They put the gorilla suit
on him
and tape his mouth so he can't scream or talk, and they put him in the cage with the gorilla, and he's immediately sexually assaulted. That's why wouldn't a gorilla
so, you know why this third act's weird is this plays like an SNL skit. This plays like
it really does.
This plays like a skit. It doesn't play like a third act. It plays like a skit.
No, you've had all of the.
This is the Italian restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right. That's it.
You've had all these scenes about nature versus nurture and rich people, and then you go from all of that, and then the dichotomy between the classes of people that exist,
all that to fat guy in a little coat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
getting molested by a gorilla in a cage.
So now they've got the fake report to give to the Duke brothers, so they know the score. And this is where I get a little confused, the final scene, because I don't quite understand what they did and how they did it. But either way, they bought low, sold high, or whatever.
I think they bought high because they thought the
Duke brothers did, but they also Billy Ray and Winthrop are also buying too. Right.
Yes.
And they make a bunch of money as well. So I don't remember. They did the opposite of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, they manipulate the market by right before the crop report drops. And then when the crop report drops,
the Duke brothers, right before that scene, the Duke brothers receive the fake report from Eddie Murphy, which is hilarious because they're super rich, but yet they come themselves to collect the drop off. So they have, like Chris said, they have the fake report, and they buy and or sell based on that report, which is wrong. And Eddie Murphy, and they get all of the money together, the hookers' life savings, the butler's life savings, their own.
So they're
money.
Going all in,
they're going all in the gambling. But also, Dan Aykroyd's character, don't forget, is really good at his job, and Eddie Murphy's good too, right? And so they both make a shit ton of money. The markets close. When they close, the two wealthy Duke brothers are broke because they went all in,
ruined, and they can't pay out what they've lost.
Yeah,
so
they should always bet on black.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes, baby.
Yeah.
So the movie, they're dead. But no, they get. You also find out too that the Duke helped founded the fucking stock market, their family lineage.
You can't sell our seats.
A duke has been sitting on this exchange since it was founded.
Just really satisfying
And
for
then-
the people that.
And then the one brother, not more Randolph, he starts like having a heart attack. He's like he's laying on the floor, and this guy, Don Amici, he's still trying to like get them to open it back up or whatever.
So they
and they're like,
Mortimer, your brother's not well. We better call an ambulance. Fuck him!
It just shows you the dichotomy of those characters right there.
Yeah, they're so like money and wealth is everything. They don't care about anything but money, not even each other. And so it's funny to watch them. For anyone who wants to see rich people just like take it in the A at the very end of the movie. This is it. Like this is your movie. They lose everything. Eddie Murphy and the common folk win, and we get to the final scene where they're on a tropical island. I assume it's in Mexico. The butler has his own Mexican butler, which is
right.
He hasn't learned a damn thing. We're just like going to repeat the same mistakes.
Still got to steal the thing. Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is looking tight as hell, and so is Dan Aykroyd on their little yacht. Like, dude,
They're
Eddie Murphy
nodding
repeats,
at each other. The little wave.
Eddie Murphy repeats the feeling good. Looking good, Billy Ray.
Feeling good, Louis.
Eddie Murphy's like, I'm feeling good, dude.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, we can't forget that Clarence Beeks is still in a cage on his way to Africa, getting absolutely butt fucked by that gorilla. Still, they make sure we see that.
It's a big scientific experiment. What do I know? Anyway, take a look. They're in love.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the end, guys. So I think as far as this movie goes, if you guys had to pick a favorite character out of this movie, because there's a lot in here that could go to. Like, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm probably going to go with Eddie Murphy. I think he just kind of jumps off more than everybody else, and it's absolutely wild to me he was 21 when this happened.
Yeah.
Was he 21 when they filmed, or was he 21 when it released?
When they filmed.
Okay. That's crazy, man. Leaf, which if you had to pick one character.
He was born in 1961, I believe.
Okay.
Right. I'm actually going to give this one to Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, it was hard with that one.
Dan Aykroyd, I know, like, he did the blackface, and he can't even accept the fact that he ever did this movie.
Right.
But I just want to say, Dan Aykroyd has comedic chops, and even now, I feel like he gets dumpstered because of his conspiracy theories and his like vodka deals.
Was it Crystal Skull vodka?
Yeah,
Crystal Skull vodka. Which y'all ever had it?
No, but I'll buy it. I like fucking dude. Booze of the week next time. I'll try to find some.
Dude, if you can find the Crystal
Speaking
Skull
of comedic
vodka,
shops, I forgot. It was in my notes, but I forgot when he's selling the watch. He goes to that nod to his SNL character where he used to do the infomercials.
Singularly unique, sculptured in design, handcrafted in Switzerland, and water resistant to 3 atmospheres. This is the sports watch of the 80s.
It's kind of a nod to a skit he used to do on SNL.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many funny, and again, Eddie Murphy steals the entire show from him. But I just want to say that Dan Aykroyd has got the original chops of SNL. Like, he was one of the original characters,
100%.
and he is freaking hilarious in multiple scenes when he's in the set outfit, like eating, like stealing all the food, like him.
I will say he does have the best range in this. Like, his character goes through a much bigger range than Eddie Murphy's character. But
he does, and I can't particularly like point out any scene. There's a sex scene technically between him and his girlfriend Penelope at the very beginning. We skipped over it. It is so awkward.
Oh, dude, awkward as fuck.
So awkward.
Wouldn't it be funny though? Like if the butler comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're getting undressed, and he comes in to make sure they don't need anything else, and she's kind of standing behind him.
Like hiding.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Would it not be funny though if like he closes the door and she pulls out this big like flopping dildo, or
National Lampoons,
or if she says something like, "Are you still going to beat your L on my T's?"
Yeah.
Listen,
or now hear me out. Or there's a giant ape in the background, and it comes out, and
it's horny and ready for action.
What is this? The 80s?
Yeah. All right,
I'm just gonna say,
All right, go ahead, Leaf.
Shout out Dan Aykroyd, I know you did blackface. You have nothing to apologize. You did the thing when comedy was the thing. Eddie Murphy had no problem with it, acting in the scene with you. All the haters for the people that do this, like comedically, screw you, you're ruining comedy. The shit was funny. Dan Aykroyd was a king. Eddie Murphy would tell you the same thing. I'm sure there's interviews where he's like, it's a joke. Like, relax. I know there's some with some of the cast of In Living Color, and when they talk about people that have done it before in the past, like comedy's comedy, right?
Yeah,
like,
especially the Wayans brothers,
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd can't even probably talk about this film. It's a masterpiece in comedy, in my opinion. No one should be ashamed of it. Shadwick, your favorite character?
I have to go with Eddie Murphy because he does that fast-paced like speech that I just don't have that ability, so I admire it so much. And he's always like, he can flip from one character to another so quickly.
Yeah, he really can.
Like,
he should do a movie where he plays like multiple characters.
Yeah,
he should. That would be he would be so good at something like that.
Yeah, like you put makeup on. You could even make him a white guy. Would there be
Jewish guy?
Yeah. Would that be a tagline like when it comes up like white Jewish face?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Nope, that doesn't count, dude. That doesn't count.
Taste the soup.
That's what. Hey, that's what is funny, dude. The other.
Again, I'm sure we talked about this when we did the Coming to America episode.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dukes, they show up as just a little bit part in Coming to America, which was in '88, so 5 years after this movie.
Later.
So Prince Akeem,
same director too, right? So they just tied them together.
Same director, same universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shared universe.
Yeah, it's awesome though. I love that.
That is an amazing call out. Yeah,
they do. They do like they're Akeem and Lisa. They're walking down the street and there's these two like bums, and Akeem gives them a big wad of cash,
right? Big
to get rid of,
and you don't see who it is at first, and then like it's Don Amici. He rolls over first, and he's like, Randolph, Randolph.
Yeah.
Wake up. It's like, I'm still not talking to you, Mortimer.
And then, they see the cash and they're like, we're back.
We're back.
That's so awesome. All right, guys.
So funny.
This was fun. This was great. Can't wait for this one to be shadow banned on YouTube for our talks. And with that, guys, we'll go ahead and take it over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
I love Mary Tyler Moore. And I know you were on her TV program. And then when she was your guest, there was this incredible chemistry. And was there ever anything romantic with her? I mean, she must have been very desirable to you. You ever lay down on top of her, I guess? I don't know.
She said,